Hey, we're back again with another New World tweet. They just tweeted at noon today, talking about their in-game store. I read through some of it while I was streaming today. I didn't read through it thoroughly, so I just want to read through it again with you guys. And let's try to break it down a little bit because whereas some of the things they said is pretty good, I was reading through some of the tweet replies and kind of took some of my hope that I just got back and just pulled it back a bit more. But let's get into it. New World said, learn about our design goals for the in-game store that is being tested in alpha, and then they make a link for it onto their news on their website. So, what they say is, greetings adventurers. We are releasing our in-game store for alpha players to test content and provide feedback in preparation for our August 31st launch. The store will allow in-game purchases for cosmetic items outside of our deluxe edition and pre-order bonuses. We have received a lot of feedback already. Yeah, you have. You definitely have. And believe it's important to make this store visible now for players to experience and test directly. Items in the store during alpha will be purely cosmetic and provide no gameplay advantages. As the game evolves, we may add new categories for store items based on our players' desires. That is not very transparent. That phrase right there is not very transparent. We may make mistakes, which is why we're testing and engaging with our community to solicit feedback. The alpha store test will include an example skin, emote, and dies. These are not exact items we will sell when live, but give you an idea of each type and flavor. So right here, it's tree splitter skin, looks like just random skin, flexing emote, and 3 different dyes. Okay, so that's all cosmetic right there. That's all the stuff they're gonna show us. We think it's important to share the goals behind our in-game store design so our players can understand our intent and to establish a foundation for open dialogue on this topic. So what they're saying is they want people to talk about the in-game store, but only with the cosmetics. They haven't mentioned anything about the pay-to-win mechanics that they have mentioned before. Okay, now they go to say our plan. Our plan for having an in-game store is to create an outlet for players who find enough value in store items that they are happy to purchase them. Our plan is not and never will be to create a feeling that store items are necessary to enjoy or compete in the game. We have 3 main goals for the in-game store. So what they're saying is you don't really need these items, but I'm not sure how that's going to work when you're doing XP boosts. I don't know. They haven't mentioned anything about the paid taxi system at all when I read this earlier. I don't know if I skipped over it or wanted to skip over it. I don't know, but we will be reading all of this. They say empower expressive personalization. So basically, express yourself through spending money in our shop. The cosmetic items sold in New World are built to provide additional opportunities for players to shape their characters. So, exactly what I said. Releases will showcase new dyes, apparel, and weapon skins for players to customize their character, as well as themed decorative furnishings and additional house pets players can purchase. Cosmetic items will not provide any perks or boosts to stats, which yeah, that's a good place to start. Just do something like ESO does where it's literally just the skin and you could just keep it on there. Just don't have to worry about it. The one concern I have with the dyes, they haven't mentioned if it's going to be a one-time use or limited use type of thing where you could use it 5 times and then it's gone, or if you buy the dye, then you have that color forever. I don't know how they're gonna do with the dye. I would hope that if you buy the dye, you have it forever, but I don't think that's how they're going to go about this. Now they say, while the in-game store will provide additional opportunities for customization and feature unique cosmetic items, there is a wealth of visually diverse in-game loot for players to discover and earn across Eternium. So, a lot of problems people were having was saying, hey, if you have an in-game cash shop with cosmetic items, that's going to make the armor look like garbage that you earn in game because it'll be more enticing to buy the better looking stuff in store. And they're saying that they're spending just as much time on the armor in game that you can earn as the armor that you can buy in store. So maybe we'll see that, maybe not. They do have an example down here that I will talk about, but let's continue with this. At the same level of aesthetic quality with items found in the store, our goal is not to make the cosmetics offered in-store better, but different than existing gear. So basically what I just said. So basically you can buy the in-store armor and it won't look like anything else in the game. Hopefully they don't break any immersion, but I feel like eventually they will somehow bring in a space suit or something that just breaks the immersion of the game altogether. But time will tell. So far, they're being semi-transparent with this, which I can respect. They go on to say, we understand players work hard to get their gear and have no intention of diminishing the value of their favorite pieces. Yeah, exactly, because some endgame of MMOs is trying to look cool, like fashion. Like, you don't want to take it away from players by adding better armor in the cash shop. They say often the store items are additive for role players and players who like to change their appearance frequently. I don't know. Below are some examples of gear found in-game versus purchasable in our store. Okay, so they only show one that is in store, which is this horned, so like Viking-esque type of armor here. And then like in-game, 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 in-game. So I will say that all of these armors have their own charm to them. They are all different and look like there was time put into each one of them. So I will give Amazon that. As someone who likes Vikings, I'm kind of upset that this one is put behind a paywall, but these other ones do look cool. But I can look like a conquistador with some extra gold gilded stuff on it. And this guy looks like he's straight out of Destiny, like you main a warlock. But I will say, all these skins, they look pretty good. Nothing really too subpar. I don't understand why the crowns are on top of this, like, old style farmer's hat, but I can look past that. And we got Velstadt from Dark Souls hanging out right here. After they showed a picture, they say, at launch, we'll offer themed cosmetic items across a variety of categories, visually on par with our endgame gear, such as themed apparel and weapon skins. Themed skins that can be applied to existing apparel or weapons to change their visual style. Housing decor and house pets. Decorative home furnishings, and fun pets for your home. Emotes, new ways to express yourself through dance gestures and other unique animations. Hopefully they don't make all the emotes in store because you don't want to lock at behind a paywall because emotes are fun. Like World of Warcraft, like you can do a bunch of different emotes and you don't have to pay for those. And it's fun for role playing. That's all. Dye packs. While many vibrant pigments are available to harvest to create dyes, additional colors will be available in store. Okay, so the dyes you can make in-game too. I feel like that's better than earning XP bonuses in game that you can also buy in the store. Like die packs, yeah, I'm okay with that. I am content with that. I don't like cash ups, but for a game with no sub and a buy to play mentality, that's okay. That's okay. I can tolerate that. Company Crest new designs will be available in the store to personalize your company's insignia. That's okay. I never really paid attention to that anyway. We won't consider selling anything other than cosmetic items until 2022 at the earliest. So, I don't know if that means they're gonna release an expansion in 2022 with something late 2022, I would hope, that would introduce catch-up mechanics that you have to pay for, which I guess that's better than, hey, a month after release, we're going to release catch-up mechanics so you could catch up to people who played the game for a month. I guess that's okay. World of Warcraft has a boost system that is relatively similar to that, I guess. We will see how this works. It's kind of iffy with me, but it does give me a little hope that they're looking towards next year. Hopefully not early 2022, but hopefully late 2022, just to be a little bit more fair and not to see this as a cash grab for people who get into the game later. But it is sort of a cash grab that gets money from people who get in the game later. But we'll see with how many dungeons and stuff they release and like how well their endgame is to see how it even works. They go on to say, maintain a level playing field. The in-game store content will not give players an advantage in PvE or PvP gameplay. Our goal is to not provide anything that players find to be pay to win, but just said you're going to have something other than cosmetics in 2022. I don't know, man. For in-game store offers. No items in the store will give players instant lifts to their overall gear score. That's not what we're concerned about, but I'm glad you mentioned that as well. Experience points. Wait, you just said you're going to have something that's other than cosmetic next year. So what is it? What is it, New World? Like, is it one or the other? Or impact territory control. No item in the store is a gate to experiencing game mechanics. Now, this is where they kind of contradict themselves, because if you put an XP boost in the game a year later, then essentially that is a gate to experience game mechanics. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I read it. But I feel like I keep repeating myself, so we're going to keep on going. Players should never feel they have to spend additional money to experience New World once they've purchased the game, as the price you pay at launch lets you play the entire release game. You know what other game does that? Black Desert Online. I mentioned this in my last video. I'm repeating myself again with the stuff New World is saying again. They go on to say, embrace veterans and welcome new arrivals. While Eternium will be full of veteran players, we anticipate new players landing on its shores for years to come. Well, after launch, we will consider ideas for items that influence mechanics like rested XP, both through the game store and earned in-game. I don't think they were, considering this idea. I'm pretty sure they were 100% going to put it in the game, and I'm pretty sure they're still going to 100% put it in the game. They're just using this corporate jargon just to make people feel like they're doing them a favor. Like, hey, we'll consider this. We're not sure if we want to yet, but in reality, what they're really saying is, our bosses are going to make us put this in the game and we won't have anything to say about it. And after that, they say this would allow late to the game players entering Eternium to catch up at a pace most comfortable to them and fight alongside their friends in in-game content, while not creating a pay-to-win environment. So, what do you mean a pace most comfortable to them? Does that mean you downgraded the XP gain on purpose just so that they feel that it's a little bit too slow to get to the end game? Why won't you just increase XP gains to start with so that players don't feel like they need to buy a more comfortable pace to level up? Or maybe if you don't want people to hit max within the first so many months, like keep the current XP how it is, and then maybe later down the road, permanently upgrade XP gains so that you don't have to have this stupid paid XP boost system in your cash shop so people aren't complaining about pay to win in your cash shop. It would avoid so many problems. But hey, Amazon's got to make all the money though. They go and say the more players that are able to experience in-game content and participate in in-game modes, the healthier the game experience will be. Just increase XP gains. Just do what I just said. The timing on when we release any sort of boost will depend on player sentiment, feedback, and how we see new players progressing through the game well after launch. Wait, you just said you're gonna wait until next year to do this, and then you go and say, well, we'll decide when we want to do this. They have contradicted themselves more in this release than they have in the other letters that they put out. And then, of course, one of their favorite defenses they like to use is, if we decide to implement these types of items, they will also be obtainable through in-game methods. You know what else is obtainable in in-game methods? You ever play Tarkov? Yeah, you can get the big, like, caches where you don't lose the items whenever you die, but you have to work super hard or pay $200 to get it for free. So I'm not sure how they're gonna balance that out. I feel like they might go with the Tarkov route and where you have to buy the gamma case, but we'll see. We'll see. And then they say in their last paragraph, looking ahead, heading towards launch, we're excited to test the functionality of our store and receive feedback on the items sold within it from our alpha community. Data from the alpha tests, as well as feedback from the testers themselves, will be studied closely, and tuning will be done to the store and content as we prepare for launch. So they're just saying in alpha they're gonna basically fix pricing. They're just trying to get their pricing down in alpha so that more people will buy crap in actual release. That's at least the way I interpret it. The launch of New World is just the start. Oh, we'll see. We plan to consistently ship game updates with new content drops from years to come. We hope you'll join us on the shores of Eternium when New World releases on August 31st. Thanks again for all your help and support, Scott. So that, and there's just saying, hey, be patient with us. We're trying to balance things, but they're just trying to balance the pricing for their shop, in my opinion. But we will see as this release date does creep up on us. And there were a few different replies that they had received. I'm going to refresh to see if any new ones came by. So this person says, we won't consider selling items other than cosmetic items until 2022 at the earliest. So the exact plan of adding XP and trade boosts after 3 to 4 months from launch for players that don't have enough time to grind as much. Like, yeah, no, he's saying like, hey, they're still talking about having it months after release. I'm hoping late 2022. And then New World comes and says the only XP boosts being discussed is enhancement to rested XP and won't be available until months after release. So they said months, not even a year. They said months. So they are planning 3 to 4 months, it seems. They are going to add this shortly after launch. It shouldn't be there at all, but if anything, at least a year. 2 years would probably be the best, but at least a year, man. Don't do it after months. You just dug yourself back into the hole that you have barely climbed out of. And then this person says, I was worried, but now I'm excited again. By the way, example, armors looks good. Which, yeah, they did look good. I thought so. New World says, we understand that our community is worried about potential future abuses. Yeah, because we've seen it in almost every single MMO that we've played. It is not in any way our goal or plan to make players feel like they have to participate in the store to play at even the most competitive levels. We will work to earn your trust through our actions. You could have avoided all of this and us not trusting you by just not having a freaking pay-to-win shop. Or pay for convenience, or just pay to level up faster. Like, no one wants that. And until you're more transparent and give us the exact stats that you're gonna give, and timeline of when you're gonna release this, because it doesn't seem like you're gonna take it out of the game, because we have tried, we have been bantering your Twitter, and this is the best you could give us. At least give us a percentage of what it's going to be, and tell us when it's going to be released, instead of saying 2022, and that can be interpreted in 13 different ways, because you could either wait 3 or 4 months, or you could wait actually an entire year. But I don't think it's going to be the entire year. I would wish they were a little more transparent on that timeline. But they also claim, oh, we just want to wait for the player feedback to see when we want to release it. They're just trying to make more money than that they already have. And whereas, yes, in a business standpoint, that makes sense, but you're just going to ruin your game in the long run if you keep going this way where you're selling solutions to players. You don't want to sell solutions in your game. But from what they said, I have a little bit more hope for the game. It doesn't seem like it's as bad as we thought. They didn't make any mention of the paid taxi service. So maybe they got rid of that and scrapped that idea altogether. Hopefully they did. And if they do wait to put out these XP boosts until a whole calendar year, I would be somewhat okay with that. I don't want any type of boost in MMOs. I don't like it. I've done a whole video on it. I've done multiple New World videos on why I don't like it. But if you want something on my opinion more in depth, look up my WoW boost token video. I go into great detail on my feelings and beliefs in the boost token. They're always a cash grab in my opinion, and I just don't want to see it in the game this early, even months after release. A year at least would probably make the most sense, but I would say just increase the XP for everyone if you feel that leveling is that slow. Don't sell the solution. But anyway, that's about it. I do stream on Twitch at AkanuX. And I am on Twitter quite often, and I make frequent posts, and that's at AkanuXstream. But until next time, you all have a great day.